What's good, you too, man? It's your boy SB, and I'm back with another sports break. Now, anyone that knows me pretty well knows that I'm a huge Houston Texans fan. And if you read the title of this video, you probably already know that this conversation is not really easy for me to have. But I'm here to have it either way. The era of us having an elite quarterback is over. We're back to not having an elite quarterback at all, which is something that this franchise is really used to. We've only had a number of good quarterbacks, probably a handful, 3 counting Deshaun, in the history of the franchise that has actually been winning quarterbacks for us. So it's a position that we're used to, on to the next as we usually have. But the Deshaun Watson era of our season is over. He's moved on. He's been traded. So in this video, we are going to talk about that trade, talk about what that means for the future of this franchise. I know a lot of things on national TV, the national sports, they're going to be talking about what this means for Cleveland. But I'm here to talk about what it means for the franchise in the Houston area and what the future means for them. So that's what the video is going to be about here today. I'm going to just be real and authentic. No cuts in this video. It's going to be one single shot. So let's go ahead and get into it. A few years ago, we traded 2 first-round picks to move up in the draft to select the quarterback of the future for this franchise. Gave up 2 first-round picks to move up from 25th to 12th with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, just so happened that it happened to be them. We traded with them to move up to the draft to select Deshaun Watson, and he kind of made his imprint as soon as he got on the field. His rookie season, he was able to, highlight film after highlight film, even though he only played about 4 or 5 games before he was hurt. Everyone could see the potential that he brought to that team and what he meant for the future. So much so, I think the best moment that he's had as a Texan was probably his game-winning drive in the playoffs against the Buffalo Bills. But also the most disappointing thing he's done as a Houston Texan was in that same playoff. In the very next round, when we were able to go up 24 points against the Kansas City Chiefs, and after getting a 24-0 lead, we proceeded to get blowed out 57-7 after that. So that kind of what started the downhill slide for his tenure here with the team. And after that, they gave him the bag. They chunked him a huge contract, gave him a bunch of money, and he made promises to the city that he would bring a championship here, and that he wanted to do what's best for the franchise. All that good stuff that sounded good then, but doesn't really mean much now. Shortly after that, the Texans had a 4-win season. Deshaun had the best season of his career. He was the best quarterback, threw for over 4,000 yards with basically nobody to really throw the ball to. But either way, you can do all those stats. You can have all the counting stats in the world. But wins is what counted in the NFL, and they were only able to muster up 4 wins. This didn't sit well with him. And almost a year after he made that commitment to say he'll bring a championship to the team, he also vouched that he would never play for the organization again and requested to be traded. So, I'm a man of my word. I'm not sure if he's a man of his, but, that's neither here nor there. The man requested to be traded. He wanted to be out. So, there's not much the organization can do based on that. So the organization did refuse to trade him. They did say that he was going to be with the team, which you can kind of expect after a team makes such a large investment into you as a person and as a player, that they don't want to just give up on that investment that easily. But then the news dropped. The man was slapped with almost 30 sexual charges and sexual assault to sexual harassment, 9 of them being criminal charges. Here on this channel, I'm gonna stick it to the sports. What that man got going on in the courtroom, that's his business. I wish the best for him, but he was able to go ahead and get those 9 criminal charges dropped, which opened up the floodgates for teams to come in and kind of try to get him and vouch for his services. So there was a few teams that was able to get into the running from him, but the winner of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes ended up being the Cleveland Browns. Now, the Cleveland Browns did pay a hefty price as far as future draft picks go in order to get his services. I think they gave up a total around 6 picks. I got the trade right here. So they will be trading 3 first-round picks. One of those picks will be in this year's draft, and I think that's number 13 overall, which is a really good pick for this team to have. as well as the first round pick for 2023 and 2024. They've also traded the 2023 third round pick and the 2024 fourth round pick. And along with Deshaun Watson, the Texans sent over a sixth round pick. And it looks like that we also got a 2022 fourth round pick for this season as well. So that's a lot of draft picks. We ended up with like 6 total draft picks. That's when I'm going to start focusing more on this team. Before I get to what this means for the Texans, I want to wish Deshaun the best in Cleveland. Hope he balls out, and I hope he brings the championship to Cleveland. They need it just as much as we did. So best of luck to him, and I hope he sticks to his promises that he made for them. So for this team, getting those 6 draft picks is huge for the rebuild of this team. I've been saying for a while that the Deshaun Watson trade will be the foundation of the rebuild. So for them to be able to get 6 draft picks, and for them to be really decent draft picks, at least for this year, is really a steal for them at the end of the day. They're going to be having, I think, 2 first round picks every draft for the next 3 years. And this draft alone in 2022, they have a total of 10 draft picks. Now, I don't expect the team to make 10 draft selections. Some of those draft picks will be traded for other compensation. But the fact that you have the draft capital to have 10 picks in one draft, that is solid. And to have 2 first round picks and 2 second round picks as well, immaculate. That's going to be really good for a team that has a lot of areas of need for them to go into. So the trade that they pulled off, yeah, they didn't get any players in it, but that also benefits them as well, because they're going to have an extremely amount of cap space to rebuild this team. Basically, they stripped the cap bare. They got rid of everybody that was any huge contracts. And they were able to move off Deshaun, which is the biggest contract that they had. Now the biggest contract on the book is Larry Tunsil. And I think Larry Tunsil is kind of worth the money that he's getting paid. It's not too much, but it is a bag for an offensive lineman. But after that, the bags get dwindled down. They didn't re-sign Justin Reed because he wanted a lot of money. And it seems like Nick Caserio, the GM for the Texans, is trying to keep the money to himself for right now. As this team goes on the rebuild, we will have plenty of cap space to sign almost anybody that we want. So it really comes down to talking to people to come join the team. But for now, we're going to just drive on this young talent. I'm looking forward to the draft to see some of the guys that we're able to pick in this draft with all these draft picks that we got. So overall, I think the trade was good for both sides. The Cleveland Browns did their research. They got the guy that they wanted, and they paid heavily for him as far as your future investments. So I think they're happy with the trade. And for me, being a fan on the outside looking in, I'm extremely happy with the trade. I was thinking before that we should have at least got one of their running backs or one of their young defensive backs. But I can definitely understand the way that he wants to keep the cap clear and be able to sign any future free agents that that comes fit and that comes amount. So we're going to have plenty of money to spend, and we're going to have plenty of young talent coming in. If you're a Houston Texans fan that's watching this video, please understand that the draft capital is much more important than what you can get from a player right now, especially for a team that's not ready to win yet. There was no player or no amount of players we can get from one team that's going to instantly turn us into a playoff team. It was better to get the draft capital, start to build this team through the draft with young talent, and be able to look forward towards the future. This team is still 2 to 3 years away from winning, and no one should be expecting them to make any huge jumps or anything like that. There's so many holes in this team when it comes from the offensive line, defensive backs, running back, and even the main position on the field, quarterback. So this is going to be a long rebuild. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I think this trade staged them very well to propel them into the future and to be able to make this team better later on down the road. So like I said, this team takes about 2 or 3 more years, and maybe we'll start competing after that and start making some playoffs runs after that. But for now, we're just looking to start that foundation and start to build something on something nice and sturdy. So that's an inside look from a Texans fan's perspective. Personally, I think the Browns are going to be dominant. They're going to be a really good team this year. We kind of got to wait to see what kind of punishment the league hands down for Deshaun. I'm expecting them to get at least 6 game suspension, but it might be more than that. And they might take their time with it and put him on the commissioner's exempt list, which is something that I've heard a little bit from him. Right now, the team kind of needs a little more offensive firepower when it comes to wide receiver. Heard that they were going to be having Will Fuller into the building pretty soon, and Will Fuller and Deshaun has a nice connection. And the trade that they made for Amari Cooper doesn't hurt. So, and if they're able to re-sign Jarvis Landry, that'll be a big boost for them as well. So, like I said, this video is basically about the future of the Texans, not the current state of the Browns. But I gave you a little bit of insight how I feel about that as well. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, watching the video. I know it's been a little bit since I posted something, but here's something I had to drop on, and I had to let you guys know how I felt about this. Drop a comment in the comment section below, letting me know who you think is the best quarterback in the AFC North. Whether that be MVP winner Lamar Jackson, young phenom Joe Burrow, or the newly acquired Deshaun Watson. Let's get that conversation going down below. And as usual, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.